All right, Shalom. Kahalayim La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity of heart. Shalom. This is the brother Batak back again with another lesson, the Lord willing. This lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect. I was just, in transit, thinking about, riches, wealth, poor. One main scripture that comes to my head is Deuteronomy chapter 8, I believe verses 17 and 18. I'm going to get those precepts too as well. I got them in my last video. I was just thinking about how the Most High Yahweh is in control of, wealth, riches. It's not a hard thing for the Most High to make you rich, to make you wealthy. And the scriptures, it says it right here in Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 11, verse 21. I was just meditating on it, because we are living in America, Babylon the Great. We don't have a lot of resources, as a people. Majority of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Israelites, sons of God, we live below the poverty line. We are in a very low state. But at the same time, bro, it's not a hard thing for the Most High to make you wealthy. It's not a hard thing for the Most High to make you rich. People work their whole life, work their lives. They're chasing after the dollar. I got to get this bag. I get this bag. But no, really, you don't have to do that, man. Because the Most High can just make you wealthy. It's not hard for the Lord to make you wealthy, man. It's not hard for the Most High to make you rich. So, if the Lord can raise up Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, a base man by nature, and make him, trillionaires wealthy, it's not a hard thing for the Most High to make us wealthy. So it's just something that I was meditating upon, and I'm gonna get a couple precepts to show you that the Most High controls whether you accumulate wealth. He gives you the power to accumulate wealth. So the scriptures tell you a man can't receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. I'm going to get that precept as well. So let's start here. Sirach 11 and 21. It says, marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in Yahweh and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. So the Lord can make you rich overnight. It's not hard. The Lord can have you stumble across something that's very valuable, whether it be gold, whatever. And that's just one way. The Lord can make you, the Lord can make you rich and wealthy in a blink of an eye, man. It's not difficult. You can hit the lottery. The mega millions, you can hit the lottery. I'm just speaking about, in America, looking at it from a American type of standpoint, because, they have the lottery, the millionaire, mega millions and things like that. The Lord can have you hit that shit. And I'm just saying that to show you that the Most High can make you wealthy or rich easily, man. It's not a difficult thing for him to do. All right, this is so I think that's the only verse that's I'm gonna read off of this. Hold on. Okay, given from heaven. So this is a good reason why we should trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, not trusting in anything else. The Lord can have us, which we ultimately are going to be. We're going to be wealthy in the kingdom of heaven, not on this side. We're in captivity under the enemy, which all of his money. It don't benefit you to be wealthy in this society, because ultimately that chip, the RFID micro chip, is going to be standing in the way between you and your riches. Because ultimately all of the money that people have in this society is not real money. These are Federal Reserve notes. They're bank notes that don't have no real natural resource behind them, like the gold standard or the silver standard. that was stripped away from the dollar. So these dollars, once the economy collapsed, the only thing that makes the dollar strong is oil. That's why, the petrodollar. It's not backed by anything else like the gold or silver, which is real currency. That's real money. Real wealth is gold and silver. And the Bible tells you that very clearly. So let me see, what was my point of that? Let me see. Let me just get this precept. I forgot my point. John chapter 3, verse 27. I hate when that happens. John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given to him from heaven. So you can't receive nothing unless it is given to you from heaven. So ultimately, if you receive riches or wealth or whatever you may receive in your life, all of it is given to you from the Most High. You see, the Lord is in Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua is in control of everything. So the Most High can cause you to. It has the power for you to obtain wealth. That's the point. Real money is gold and silver, and even cattle. Cattle is money. Even today in the American society, you know how much a fucking cow costs? It's gonna run you a pretty penny, man. I mean, if you pay to, pay for get a half a cow or a whole cow, that's money right there, man. Especially if you got some high quality, good product, good cows, that's money. Because you can ultimately sell it and make money off of the cows. Like you buy a whole cow, and shit costs about $1,000, probably more. Let me go to Google. In biblical times, which we're in biblical times now, but in biblical times, did cattle? Hold on, wait. Maybe I have to read first. In biblical times, did cattle let me see. Was cattle currency? I knew it was going to say that. Okay, so it says yes. In biblical times, which we're still in biblical times, livestock, including cattle, sheep, and camels, function as a primary form of currency and the main measure of wealth. Before standardized coins were widely minted, people bartered with animals to trade goods, pay debts, and measure an individual's total affluence. Store of value. Animals represented actual tangible wealth that could produce goods like milk or wool, and be used for labor. Wealth management. In the Old Testament, the wealth of biblical figures was also often measured directly by the size of their herds. For example, Genesis 13:2 describes Abraham as a very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold, which that's the spirit, because I was actually thinking about that actual precept and I was going to get it, and it's right here. I'm gonna still go read it too. It says no standardized coinage. It says stamped metal coins did not become common in ancient Israel until after the Babylonian exile. Until then, commerce relied on trading physical goods or weighing precious metals like silver and bulk. Other forms of currency. This is precious metals. When a cow or flock wasn't practical, people used weighted amounts of uncoined silver and gold. I'm sorry, gold and silver. The shekel. It says the term shekel originally refers to a specific unit of weight, like an ounce, rather than a coin. A person weighed out a specific quantity of silver or gold to make a transaction or pay a tribute. See? And speaking of the shekel, what first came to my mind was if you was to, you would have to pay 50 shekels of silver if you if a man was to take a virgin. Let me go to it. 50 shekels. It's just an example of the shekel. Deuteronomy 22 and 29. I'm gonna start at 28. It says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, a woman that is a virgin, right, which is not betrothed, that means she's not arranged to be married or anything like that, married to a man or promised to a man, if you will. Let me look up the word betrothed just to, they're very betrothed. Betrothed, it says to promise to marry. See? So if she's not set aside to be married to a man or arranged to be married to a man, it says a contract to give a woman in marriage to another. So yeah, basically it's a contract, if you will. So if she's not betrothed, then, and she's a virgin and she's not betrothed, plus she's not married to anyone. Deuteronomy 28:2 and 28, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. So if you was to do that, you would have to pay 50 shekels of silver, because you basically took her father's his possession, if you will, because ultimately a woman, she was under authority and possession of her father until she gets married. So you gotta pay that man, because ultimately women are a possession. The scriptures tell you that. So you gotta pay for the damage that you caused. Let me see what let me see what Google says. Can you explain why in Deuteronomy, I'm probably gonna spell it, so let me D-E-U-T. Is it 29? Damsel. Let me see what it says. I just want to see what it says. In ancient Israelite society, it says in ancient Israelite society, the payment and marriage requirements in Deuteronomy 22 and 29 served as a legal and social mechanism to hold men accountable and to provide a critical safety net for women who were otherwise severely marginalized. Scholars and biblical commentaries generally identify 3 specific reasons for this requirement. Economic restitution. The payment of 50 shekels of silver to the damsel's father compensated the family for the loss of the daughter's virginity, which diminished her future marriage prospects and her bride price. Oh, it says social provisions and protection. Without a husband or family support, a non-virgin, unmarried woman in the ancient Near East faced immense economic hardship and social shame. By forcing the man to marry her, the law provided her with financial support, social standing, and a legal home. It says a severe deterrent. By revoking a man's right to even divorce her, the law ensues that the marriage was permanent. This returned an irresponsible, abusive, or opportunist act into a lifelong financial and protective obligation, discouraging men from taking advantage of young women. No. Ultimately, yeah, because if you most likely, according to the law, if you lay with that woman, you can't put her away. You have to stay with her forever. She's yours, and you got to take care of her. So you just can't be wild acting upon your lust and just take her and not expect. You got to take care of that woman now. She's yours. She's your position now. She belongs to you. So you got to make sure you take care of her. You got to provide for her. The scriptures tell you that in the law, you got to provide her with food, raiment, and duty of marriage. And I'm kind of got a little bit off topic. Let's shift gears back to the original topic, the Exodus 21:10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, which is what, sexual intercourse, shall he not diminish. So you can have as many women as you want according to the law, but you just got to make sure you take care of them. But so I got lost in that example of paying 50 shekels of silver, which that was just supposed to be an example. Let's go back to get back on topic. So like I got a little bit off topic. Genesis chapter 13 verse 1, it says, and Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went into his journey from the south even unto Bethel, until the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hiah. So Abram at the time, which his name was later changed to Abraham, father of a multitude. He was rich in cattle and in silver and in gold, because that's what real riches are. Gold and silver are real riches. Gold, silver. See what pops up. There's a lot of scriptures about gold and silver. See what the word, there's a precept that goes into wealth. This is a good example. Zechariah 14:14 says, and Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together. See, this is just to show you that wealth is rich as gold and silver, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. See? So gold and silver is what real riches are. And of course you have different stones that are, certain precious stones. So ultimately it's an easy thing for the Most High Yahweh B'Shem Shai to give you the power to be able to accumulate wealth. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 17. It says, and thou, verse 18, which is verse 17 says, and thou say in thine heart, my power and my might and the might of mine hand had gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy power, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers as it is this day. So the Lord is basically saying in this scripture, you can't take the credit for your ability to accumulate wealth. You got to remember him, that he's the one that allows you and gives you the power to become wealthy. You know, because of the blessings are going to overtake us. You know, we're going to be overtaken with wealth, man. We're going to have so much wealth, so much money. And then that's something that Jake in this world, they die for money. You don't have to, bro. You don't got to kill yourself for no money, because we're going to inherit the whole earth and the fullness of it and the resources. All we got to do is have our faith and store our treasures in heaven. You know, put our trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai, do the work of the Lord. We're going to receive a reward for what we do. The work that we do, we're going to receive a reward, man. Matthew, Yahweh Shai said it himself. Matthew chapter 19, everything that we sacrificed on this side, we're going to receive once again. Matthew 19 and 27, it says, Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh said unto them, Verily, which means truly, I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, talking about when the kingdom of heaven is established, when he's, the nation of Israel is exalted back on high like it's supposed to be, ye shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one of that had forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, because land is, you got land is money. For my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. So whatever you have forsaken, you may have forsaken a career that could have made you wealthy. You have some brothers in the truth. I'm gonna mention the brother Makawar out of Great Millstone, Columbus. That brother was in the NFL. And there are many other brothers of examples of brethren that was in the NFL or NBA or something like that may have sacrificed their careers to follow after Yahweh Shemel Shah. And I'm pretty sure those brothers have, can tell their personal testimonies. But that's just the point. Everything that we sacrifice for the Lord, even something as great as having an NFL career, sacrifice that for the Lord, the Most High is going to reward you, man. Definitely going to reward you. So everything that we lost, we're going to receive back. Them brothers ain't going to have to kill their bodies and destroy their bodies, because ultimately that's what the NFL, that's what sports is going to do to you. You got to destroy your body in order to accumulate that wealth. Them brothers ain't going to have to do that when the Most High overthrows this place. They ain't going to have to kill their bodies, destroy their bodies just for these damn devils, just to make some money. Them brothers is going to have wealth. They're going to have money that they ain't worked for. They ain't have to. All they did was they forsook the things of this world, put their faith and their trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai. They stayed out, they kept the faith to the end, and the Most High going to reward them. That's what it's going to be. It says, but verse 30, the point, it says, but many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So we're put last in this society. But when Yahweh Shai overturns everything and puts everything where it's supposed to be, right side up, if you will, where the true men of the Lord are going to be first. Israel is going to be first. The NLT says, but many who are the greatest now will become least important then, and those who seem least important now will be the greatest then. When is that? When the kingdom of heaven is established upon the earth. See? So wealth is not something that, in the world you're taught, oh, you need money for this, you need money for that, man. Bro, fuck all of that, man. That's not even real money. These are Federal Reserve notes. Is the dollar backed by gold or silver? Let's see. The answer is no. But I know it's no. It says the US dollar is not backed by gold or silver. It is a fiat currency, meaning its value comes from the trust people have in the US government and its economy rather than physical commodity. The US completely ended the dollar's convertibility into gold in 1971. See? So the dollar is basically worthless. Since 1971, dollars cannot be exchanged for gold or silver at any Federal Reserve bank. And that would be hella convenient, man. Just imagine that, bro. You can actually go to a bank, hypothetically, go to a bank, you got $1,000, you know, because you just got paid, you got $1,000, all right? You exchange that, you able to exchange that $1,000 for 1,000, however, I'm not sure the measurement, ounces of gold, I'm not sure. $1,000 coins, 1,000 gold, 1,000 gold coins, however much the value is. There could be an easy way you can accumulate wealth. But see, they don't want you to accumulate wealth. That gold, its value increases over time. Let's see. Does gold? Let me make sure. Gold. Does the value of gold increase over time? It says yes. Gold can appreciate in value, but it does not grow in the same way as income generating assets like stocks or bonds, which pay dividends or interest. Well, I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, stocks and bonds is good to invest in things like that, and it accumulates over time. But gold is really a more solid commodity. You ain't got to worry about, anything, because stocks go up and stocks go down. The stock market can be up, the stock market can go down. You can be up and you can go down. So it's like it fluctuates. With gold, it's just gonna slowly increase value over time. So that means if you bought gold in 1950s, you bought $1,000 worth of gold in the 1950s, and you saved it until today, and you sell, you ain't gotta even sell all of it. You can just sell half of it, bro. You'll come out big. That's an accumulation of wealth right there. But ultimately, we're not able to accumulate wealth because of the curses, and this, Esau has, Jake. We're not to accumulate wealth here, man. We may receive money, but we don't take it with us, man. We don't accumulate no wealth. But in the kingdom of heaven, we will. We'll be wealthy individuals, man. So let's see. Oh, let's get one more example. King Solomon asked the Most High for wisdom. And that's the only thing he asked for. He didn't ask for a long life. He didn't ask for nothing else. He asked for wisdom. And the Most High still gave him what? Riches. I just got to find it. Here it is. 1 Kings chapter 3, which we understand who Solomon is in the spirit. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 24, it says, and the king said, wait. Hold on. No, it's not right here. It's the book of 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 5. It says, in Gibeon, Yahweh appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And the Most High said, ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, thou hast shewed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee, and thou hast kept for him this great kindness. that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. And now, O Yahweh, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or to come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered or accounted for multitude. Verse 9, give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people. See, this is what he asked for. Verse 9, the point. That I may discern between good and bad, for who is able to judge this thy so great a people? Verse 10, and the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. And the Most High said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast thou asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, which is mine, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither shall there be any, neither shall the, damn it, I'm going to read that again from the top. First Kings 3:12. And it says, behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. So Solomon was going to be great, and there was never going to be anybody that was going to be on this level. That right there shows you how important he was and who he is, really. Because, you know, in the spirit that Solomon is our Lord Yahweh Shai, you know, one of his incarnations. Verse 13, it says, and I have, that's why when Yahweh Shai said, a greater than Solomon is here, who is he referring to? Himself. Because he was Solomon. He was King Solomon. Greater, let me get that real quick, than Solomon is here. So he's greater than Solomon? Yeah. Matthew chapter 12, verse 12 and 42. It says, the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for she came from the other parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here. See? So the scriptures tell you that there ain't gonna be nobody like Solomon. But then you have Yahweh Shai saying that he's greater than Solomon. Why would he make that statement? Because he is Solomon. And he is greater than Solomon because ultimately Solomon sinned. Because Yahweh Shai sinned in his past life. And he was saying he's greater because he's going to be perfect. And he ultimately is Solomon, man. That's why he said that. Yeah, Solomon sinned before he died, but Yahweh Shai himself, he didn't. When he came as Yahweh Shai, he didn't sin. He was perfect. That's why he said greater than Solomon is here. He is Solomon, to say it the third time. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 13. It says, and I have given it says, and I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. And if thou walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments as thy father David did, then I will lengthen thy days. See? So that is another example to show you that the Most High controls, and the Lord can make you rich, man. You know, the Lord can make you wealthy. The same way he made our enemies wealthy and powerful, the Lord is going to make us wealthy and powerful. So it's not a hard thing. Sudden. Let's close it out with the same scripture we opened it in, just to reiterate that point. Sirach 11 and 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in Yahweh and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord, on the sudden to make a poor man rich. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I'm going to close it out by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh